Test. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Mm. I'm gonna pull up YouTube. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Big Tony Speaks. Um, just for the hell of it, show. Uh, I'm waiting on my special guest, James from Empty Pockets Podcast. So just hang loose. He'll be here shortly, I hope. I'm gonna look really funny if he don't show up. Um, but anyway, um, we're just really mainly testing my feed between Rumble and YouTube, and because I've been having issues with that feed over to YouTube, so I figured, what the hell, I'll come on. It's 2 a.m. I'll come on here and we'll shoot the breeze, talk about whatever, and whatever anybody, if somebody shows up in the chat, whatever they want to talk about, etc. Um, it's just a for the hell of it fun show today. He just sent me a text saying that he is finishing up with his setup so he can get on here. So there we go. My phone will not let me watch my own live stream. That is crazy. Hold on 1 second. Can you hear me through your audio on your phone? something. Okay, I could hear it all the way in here. Okay. Okay. Well, it looks like you all heard all that. As I said, I've been having issues, so I'm having to test this out and see what is happening with it. If it is working, the biggest test right now is if James, when he comes on, if YouTube can see him. I need you to keep watching that. Mm. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I get at least one person in my chat over on YouTube. So far, I've got, uh, it says I have one person watching. So on Rumble, I'm not showing anybody on. I'm showing one concurrent viewer on YouTube as well. No chats, though. No chats. Waiting for James. Waiting for James. But yeah, my phone, for some reason, won't let me view my own live stream. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. There's so many little things, and no, see, nobody tells you these things when you're trying to do this stuff. Nobody tells you how to do it. There's no real instruction on either website. I'm sure I could probably find a video on either YouTube or Rumble or both that tells me how to do it. But you know what would be nice is to have like a page, website that you could go to learn how to do all this stuff. You know, I had it took me a while to figure out everything on Rumble, and then trying to figure out how to do the multi-stream everything. Yeah, that was a job because I had to figure it out all for myself, and I thought I had it figured out, and then I had a couple of guests on, James and another guy, and YouTube, they weren't even showing up on YouTube at all. Couldn't hear them. I want to test something while we're waiting on James. Um, Marilyn, tell me if you can hear something here in the next couple of seconds. I want to test this out. See.
Big Tony's in the house tonight. He's in the house. Bringing that beat, making it sweet, so sweet. People on their feet, their feet. Big Tony's in the house tonight. Big Tony's in the house tonight. Singing the house tonight.
Okay, there's confirmation that my music is going through. Awesome, awesome. Because I have theme songs for everything, just about it. So yeah, I'm learning. Sue me. I'm trying to learn this. Um, Figuring it out with no instruction, no mentorship or anything from uh, a creator. Oh, there we go. Hey, that's new. Okay, I just allowed him to come on, and we're going to see if it works.
All right, all right, all right.
All right, what's going on, James?
Just another day.
Yes! I don't mean to yell in your ear. You are showing up on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't
Hang
know.
on one second. Hang on one second. Start talking. Just random whatever.
All right, all right, all right.
Do
Hey,
you hear
everybody.
him?
Are we doing all right?
You can hear him?
Can you hear me?
And Marilyn says she can hear you. She's on YouTube watching.
Good deal.
Yeah,
Good
so
deal.
so what
Daggone.
is up with you, man? I
Oh, I
thought
was
you were
just,
gonna get some rest, man.
well, I was asleep, and then my dog woke me up because uh, my woman made me a little pizza, and I ate like a few pieces of it, and then I fell asleep.
Right, right.
And my dog decided that she had to wake me up to see if she could have the rest of it, so because she
Oh,
won't snag it on her own.
right. Got to have permission. Yeah.
I have to hand it to her. So yeah, all right. So, anyways, I finished the pizza off, me and the dog, and then I needed to go use the bathroom, and I realized my dog plays this little game with me. Uh, Find my slippers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
So I had to go.
I had a dog one time that would not take human food unless I took a bite off it first.
Oh, really?
I had to take a bite and then hand it. If I just tried to hand it, wouldn't take it.
Well, see, mine's the opposite. Let's say I'm eating a piece, and because like I got no teeth, right? So if the piece of the crust is too hard for me, I'll just give her the rest of it, and she'll just look at me like, "Really? You've already bitten off of it, so you're throwing me your trash?
Right, right.
You think I am a dog?"
Right, right.
Yeah,
Now,
my dogs have unique personalities.
right, yeah. Now it is still not showing me a viewer count for YouTube, but at least I've got it where the stream is working.
See,
It even
it's still showing that global thing,
yeah,
like a
yeah,
sphere. And
I'm still doing the RTMP. I just figured out what was wrong with my setup. Somehow you have to put an RTMP URL in there, and then you have to put a key in there that unlocks it basically.
right. So
Okay.
what are we going to talk about?
We're talking. We'll figure it out. But anyway, the key somehow got deleted out of my settings, so I had to go to YouTube and get the key again, come back over and put it in there, and now everything seems to work. It's even playing my theme music and everything through YouTube. Marilyn's tested. She said she can hear it. So it's all working. I'm just not getting a viewer count from over there because she's watching. It should show up one.
Yeah, yeah. Now you gotta. I got this. You know how you get something stuck in your head, even though you're sleepy, but you gotta get it out of your head before you go to bed.
Right, right,
So when we get done here, I'm in the middle of designing shit for my merchandise,
right, right. Yeah,
and I'm using AI to help me do it. But
yeah, yeah,
it ain't quite understanding what I'm saying, and it's kind of irritating. So I've been trying to find old pictures of my stuff from drawings for my channel or whatever,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and it helped because as soon as I threw the picture in there, I said, "Make a sketch similar to this, clean it
Right,
up." Oh man, it turned out awesome.
right, right.
I said, "Yeah, that's right." Because it's my little character, my little mechanic that pulls his pockets out where they're empty.
Right, right. Yeah, sometimes AI needs a little bit of help. It needs some reference, you know.
But did you
Uh,
know on the free side of it, you can only ask it for so many suggestions before you've asked it to do too many,
yep.
and then you have to wait a day or two before it'll
Yeah.
re reset itself to update it so you can do more.
Right,
So
right.
I'm kind of trying to keep it to a minimum because I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Because when I was first doing it, I was just throwing in ideas one right after another on something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then it said, "Well, I can no longer do no more because you've reached the limit of your." I was like, "Ah, damn it!"
Right, right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, AI, man, it's a cool tool, but sometimes it can be really aggravating. Um,
I talked to, like I told you, I talked to Watchman for 3 hours, right?
right, right.
He's a fascinating dude, and I get. Here's what it is, man. He gets. You can't tell it in chat when you're talking to him. You can tell how passionate he is about what he's learned, and he's always wanting whoever he's talking to know where here's what I learned. I want you to know it too. This is what you need to know. I want you to, it's kind of like he's trying to educate the world or something. And but man, let's be honest. I'm just fucking lazy. I can't do all that research and feel good about it because I'd get bored as fuck.
Well, sometimes it is pretty boring, you know. Other times it can be really interesting, and you get in the zone and you're like, you know,
Well, this is what I like about talking to smart guys and girls, and not just guys, but girls. You guys do the hard reading, the stuff that takes hours to get through, right? And then I find
right,
out what I need to know from you.
right,
It's kind of like waiting
mm,
for the movie to come out. You don't want to read the book until you wait for the movie. So
right,
you read the book. The movie is you. So I waited for, you know what I mean? So you tell me what you learned, and that's how I learn.
right, right.
Because you will only tell me what is necessary to know, even
Pretty
though it
much.
probably took hours to get through to a piece of literature to find out that one thing. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah. Sometimes it does, dude, for real. And that's why when I talk about the Muslims and stuff, um, I'm putting up the actual articles from Rare Foundation, and they're long and they're drawn out. And I know that, you know, people, they really don't want to sit through all that, but the information is necessary, and
That's
the
why you play
those
them clips like you play the clips like I do.
right,
You play the
yeah,
salacious stuff that makes them shocked. Oh my God,
right, right
they're
up
talking.
front,
They're
right up
talking about
front.
killing
I
us. They're talking about killing us.
right up front. I played several clips that would like get your attention. Wait, what? You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and and then I started going into the heavy duty stuff, and then I was playing some more clips. I was putting up the articles, but I was using the articles to get to the clips,
Right.
and I would kind of give a little context, and then the clip, and I hope that stuff was sinking into people. You know what I mean? And I still got a whole lot more. You know, I
Some
mean, a
people though,
whole
man, they stay in denial, Tony. I don't understand them.
right,
It's
right,
almost like they can't handle it. You know what I mean? So denial is a good place for their brain to be. Seriously, you know what I mean? People don't want to hear catastrophic information
right, right,
because it destroys their worldview of where they live and how they're going to survive. Because when you tell people your life will change if these people get in charge, you will not have the American dream. You will not be able to exist the way you do today.
right.
You will be pretty much in trouble, and everybody around you, your entire family, and everything you know is going to be flipped upside down,
Yep.
and it'll be a struggle and it'll be violent.
Oh yeah.
and you'll be struggling to find food. You'll be struggling to find all kinds of resources. So but that's the problem with conservatives. They're afraid to lose their jobs, their cars, their boats, their campers, their house, their kids' private school. They're afraid to lose any of this because they worked hard to get it, because they labored to get it. Not, you know what I mean? A lot of them didn't go to college, or if they did, they still ended up in a skilled trade of some kind that made them halfway decent money, but they still work for a living.
Right.
And they just, it's hard for them to grasp that, if they think if they do nothing, what we're saying may not come true. And then if
Right.
they do
Right.
something, they're got a chance of losing stuff. But I tell them all the time, you do nothing, you're going to lose it. You do something, you may not lose it. You may save the country, and then you can go back to work and do your job.
Right. Right. So I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people have this, still have this concept. Oh, the government won't let that happen.
Yeah, exactly. The government is
You
who
know,
fucked us. That's what they got to
ex-
understand. The government put this in place.
right. Right. I mean, the government is denying that it's happening. Oh no, that's not happening. That's not happening. Oh yes, it is. They're following exactly the same method of operations that they have in every other country that they've taken over.
It's kind of like, and it's happened. It's a scenario in different types of movies, foreign countries, even alien movies, to where you have a group of the government will, what's that word where they work with the enemy? Uh,
Um,
you know what I mean? Because what it is they're promised nothing will happen to them. They'll be able to still make money, have a good life, as
right,
long as
right,
they follow, because they're in a position to where they're in control of something, because they're in the government, and then they don't care what happens to the masses. They
right.
only care about what happens to them. So I'm trying to think of that word they use, like where they collaborate with the enemy. That's close enough, I guess,
Yeah, that's good enough.
to save their own hides. So a lot of these politicians, they're pretty much thinking, okay, we won't get our heads cut off because we helped them get here.
Right,
So they'll remember that when it's all over with. When they tend to forget that old one little thing. The Quran says they're allowed to lie to you. They're going to tell
yep,
you whatever you want to hear. And then
yep.
in the
They
end,
can, they can even ear earlier on my show, I played video that showed that they can even pretend to be friendly, pretend to be your friend, you
that's what
know,
I tell
and
people
it
all the
be a
time.
total lie.
I can't. I said it's like I want to trust Muslims, but I can't. The nice ones, but I can't trust them because you don't know if it's real or not now. You
Right,
know what I mean? And you can't take that chance. Now, I ain't saying being mean to them if they're nice to you, but don't get all cozy with them because you may get your feelings hurt later.
right, right.
Yeah, as
You
they're holding you down while the other guy's cutting your head off.
exactly.
Be like,
That's
I
exactly it.
be like, Abdullah, I thought we was friends. Oh, no, 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 infidel. Yeah, well, I'm a good actor. I'm a good actor.
I win an Oscar.
That's right. I'm going to heaven. Oh, by the way, I had your daughter just a little bit ago, so
Right.
I put a baby in her. But that's how they
Yeah,
are.
I mean, it's crazy, man. And once you see what's actually happening, once you realize it, you see it. You want other people to know. You want them to know and understand what you see. You
Yep.
want them to be able to see it. And that's it, and that's why I'm all constantly talking about the Muslims and the Muslim invasion and all that. And
And
it's sometimes it kind of feels like they, no matter how I explain it, how I, I present the information to them, they just don't actually understand what's really actually going on. You
Absolutely, they
know?
don't. And I didn't pay attention to this stuff until I started talking to you guys and people like Watchmen and everybody else, and you get good information. You may not get 100% out of one person because they may be stuck in something. You know what I mean? They got that tunnel vision, but
Right.
there's something about what they have has value to it, and then there's something about what this person over here has value to it, and then you have to juggle it in your head and try to make sense of it, and then try to explain this to the audience. You know what I mean? Get the
Right.
message out
Right.
there. That's what I always worry about. I always worry about me not being a good enough messenger, but then I get told I'm wrong. So because I have diarrhea of the mouth, so I talk long enough to where I finally get everything out that I'm trying to say.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
I had an idea after earlier tonight with me, you, and Larry. You know how I like to have a little theme uh, live stream every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have a karaoke night and invite everybody because we can share karaoke things, off of YouTube on here with music and all. And then
Right.
the person that, like, you may have a song you can sing. Larry has one. Maybe I have one. And then let's just say it's probably one of the most embarrassing live streams I'll ever have, but because people like to give you good opinions of anything, they like to give you the honest opinion about how you sing. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you tried. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, you were almost there. You were good in a couple places. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, why don't you just say I was shit and I sucked?
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I thought that'd be might be fun. I know Carl, when I first met him, he used to have uh, one night a week to where he'd play the guitar and sing.
Right. Right.
So it's kind of like the same thing. We're just using karaoke tracks to instead of playing the guitar because I don't have any skills yet. So
Hey, it's not as hard as people think it is. Now, I can tell you, your fingertips will hurt for quite a while
gotta get
because
some
you got
calluses.
yeah, you got to build up those calluses on your fingertips. They will hurt for quite a while.
See, I don't know if you can see my calluses here.
Uh
I've had them for years because
huh. He froze up. Yeah, yeah. I expected that.
yeah, here we go. It's just the same.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is from punching a punching bag.
Uh huh.
I've literally punched a punching bag till I've ripped my knuckles open.
You're not supposed to punch those without gloves, right?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I wear gloves a lot of times, but sometimes, like, I want to build because you don't have gloves on, particularly if you're in a real street fight.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
Well,
I wanted
there
calluses on my knuckles. So when I hit you, it's like leather hitting your skin because when I hit, I ain't kidding because this used to be a
you
big
hit and
thing.
turn, it
I hit
cuts
and
them.
turned. Yeah, it's like wham right at the last second. And I mean, it's a very effective way to hit.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. You want to do maximum damage.
well,
You
that
want
was
to
my
at the
that was
very
my
least.
goal.
Well, see, at the very least, even if you get your butt whooped, you have let them know you were there.
Right.
You hurt you hurt them.
If you do nothing, you're guaranteed an ass whooping. If you
Right.
do something, you put a cost to their effort of trying to hurt you. And
Yeah.
they
I
may
mean,
think twice before they do it again because if they, well, I did win, but damn, man, he got a few good ones on me, and I don't know if it's really worth fucking with him again. You know what I mean? They
right.
really, people think like that. I've been in
Right.
so
I
many
mean,
fights. I can't even count how many fights I've been in. Jesus.
right. I can't say that I've won every fight that I've ever been in, but I have heard the people that I have fought with talk about me afterwards. You know, and they're like, "Yeah, I whooped his ass, but damn, he hurt me." You know, he did this and he did that, and he's a force to be reckoned with when he gets angry. You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
and see, that's kind of like my problem. You know that song, I see red when I opened up the door. I see red, especially if you hit me first
right, right,
and you got me bleeding. It's like that pisses me off to no end. I cannot explain that.
yeah,
So I just pretty much blank out. I know what I'm
yeah,
doing, but it's just like you get this unusual amount of energy.
right,
And see, it's like I've had my nose broke twice. When I had teeth, I had these two front teeth. I've had them knocked out 3 times. I've had my fingers broke. I've had an ankle broke,
yeah.
and I've had my back hurt a few times in fights, but that's really nothing, no big deal. But
Well,
so yeah, so I mean, I've taken a little bit of damage.
right. Oh yeah, my nose has been broke several times. If you look right here, I'll pull this back. You see that scar right there?
Yeah.
That's where I got stabbed between the eyes with a flathead screwdriver.
Oh, I forgot. Hey, yeah, I got stabbed in the leg. I was on the ground wrestling with this guy, and I got stabbed in my calf.
Yeah. Uh,
And I
but yeah,
didn't
I got
realize I didn't realize what had happened. I felt this warm burning sensation, and I was still, we're still on the. Don't ever fight on gravel, guys. Nobody wins.
right.
You're both
Yeah.
getting
Oh,
cut up. You're both getting cut up by the gravel and shit. Oh, it
yeah.
hurts.
When I took that screwdriver right there, the guy left it in there because see it pissed me off. I took that screwdriver and I went after him. It pissed me off. I literally saw red, and it pissed me off, and I ended up running him into a room where he closed the door and locked it, and I was beating that door down till somebody grabbed me and took me outside. And then I realized I still got this screwdriver in the middle of my damn forehead up here. I pulled it out. Somebody called the ambulance before I pulled it out, so they showed up just minutes later. I pulled it out, and I'm holding a towel to my forehead.
That's
Like,
like you can see my nose, see the curve where it
uh-huh,
curves like it comes this way and then curves back that way, and
uh-huh,
that's it. The cartilage come out of the skin right here.
right.
When my first time I got my nose broke, and it split my skin open and it's bleeding like I was bleeding like a pig. And when it happened, I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? So I set my own nose,
Right.
which if you've ever once you've done it once, you really you cringe the second time if you ever get your nose broke again and have to set it because you knew how
Uh-huh.
bad it hurt to set it because you don't realize how bad it's going to hurt when you do it the first time because everybody says, just grab it on.
Yep, it happened again. Yeah. He's been having so much trouble because of that weather where he's at. So, I'm you're back.
Yeah, see, I don't know how much you just heard. I get rolling.
Um,
This internet's fucking me up. I get rolling with my thoughts, and
right,
then
right,
then it's like, and I'm one of those people. I can't repeat it twice as the same
right,
way because it's
right.
not scripted.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for real. I'll lose my train of thought if something happens and distracts me from what I'm saying. I'll
yeah,
lose my train of thought. Yeah, hell, you've seen it happen a bunch of times, live on on a show. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, shit. my nose has been broken a number of times. It's never come through the skin or anything. I mean, you can look at it and you can see, it's been broken a few times.
Yeah.
But I mean, I here's the thing. I was always the smallest one in my class in school. I mean, from elementary all the way on up through high school and everything, and into college. I was always the smallest one, and so therefore I always got picked on.
Try being
Oh,
5'5".
yeah. So well, I'm 5'6", so
Right. That
you know.
you know what I'm talking about then, yeah.
So I was always the smallest one. I always got picked on. So I had to learn to hurt people.
Yeah, you
You know,
absolutely do, yeah.
I
And
I
you got to
I
learn to hurt
I
them first too, by the way, because
you know
the best way to win a fight is the element of surprise.
yeah, I got really good at hurting people. I got really good at breaking bones, and
Yeah.
I took many a jock off the field. I mean, literally because I was breaking their bones because they picked on me. You know?
Well, in the neighborhood I grew up in, I never had a problem with jocks. You want to know why? Because they were all afraid of because not necessarily they were afraid of me. They were afraid of everybody that lived in my neighborhood with me. And, it's like, it's one of those deals you fuck with one, you fuck with all. So
Right.
it's I mean, like we'd walk into the cafeteria in junior high school. I remember this so many times. And there was one couple big round tables my whole neighborhood would like to sit at. And every now and then, if we get in there kind of late, usually somebody filters in and sits in those seats. Do you think they sit there long when we walk in the door? No.
Yeah, I mean, I gained I quickly in high school I gained a reputation, because I took out a quarterback. He decided he was going to pick on me, and I decided he wasn't going to pick on me. So I broke his arm in three places. And then that gave me. After that, I didn't get a whole lot of picking on that year, but the next year, you know by that time, my reputation preceded me. Oh, he thinks he's tough, so I'm gonna go test him. you know so
See,
like I said, I had to get really good at hurting people because I don't like to fight. I want it to be short, sweet, and to the point.
but you have to.
You're gonna get my point.
Well, see, like I said, I've never had any issue with the jocks because they're already afraid of us. My deal is the people I had to deal with was like the biggest and baddest in the hood in the black side of town because they
Right,
always
right.
had something they felt like they had to prove something. Oh, you white boys think you're so fucking tough. You know what I mean? They'll just literally just challenge you.
Hmm.
And I mean, like we're talking some tough people here, right?
Oh yeah.
And literally, I don't know. I figured it out later how he had it. He ended up during the fight. He come out with this chain and was swinging it around and whipping at me and stuff like that. And I figured out later where the chain come from. He literally wore it like a belt and when whipped it out. Well, I got the chain away from him. I mean, he put some few welts on me, but I wrapped the chain around my knuckles, and we
Yeah.
were like a two-tier staircase, like the second floor of the school, and it comes down. It's got like a flat landing, and then it goes down to down to the first floor. Well, we were on the in between part, and I was literally just one hit right after the other. I mean, it got to the point to where I was getting splatters of blood on me, and I'm telling you what, it's my industrial arts teacher. His last name was Stig Penicky, big, huge, muscle bound black guy. He put me in a chokehold and dragged me down to the first floor. I say, I mean, I couldn't move. This dude had me. I was done. And I was like, I'm glad I ain't never got to fight this motherfucker. But I beat that dude so bad, and I got expelled. And my mom went in there. My mom's a woman you don't fuck with. And because she's serious, she went in there and she's like, this boy starts a fight with him. and he defends himself, and you're going to expel him?
Right.
He said, but Mrs. Blanken, you don't understand. Did you see what he did to that young man? Well, what do you think that young man was trying to do to my son?
Exactly. Exactly.
And see, in the discipline counselor, her name was Mrs. Samuels. She was half black and married to a black man, so she really, it's all about the plight of the black people. You know what I'm saying? So when white boys had an issue, she kind of took it to an extreme with punishment and everything. And my mom kind of like caught on to this real fucking quick. And I remember I was sitting there and she told Miss Samuels, she said, listen here, you black bitch wannabe. You ain't suspending my son. She said, you want to talk about some white person that's all pissed off and fucking with black people? I'll kick your fucking half black ass all over this motherfucking school in front of all these students. And he says, I'll embarrass you so bad you'll never come back to this school. So my son better not get more than 3 days. You understand what I'm saying? Because they tried to expel me for the year. So I got 1 day suspension for it. And then you believe that family tried to get me to my mom to pay the hospital bills for the because they had to get like I don't know like 12 stitches or something here and there. And of course that never happened. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember this is kind of funny. I remember when I met one of my best friends. I haven't heard from him in years though. One of my best friends in school, and this guy was 7 foot tall, and he was like 300 and something pounds, all muscle. I mean, never ever smiled or anything, but he was about to pummel this kid. I was kind of friendly with. I wasn't. We weren't really friends, but we were kind of friendly. We would hang out occasionally at school, never after school or anything like that. But he was about to pummel this kid. And I knew the kid didn't know how to fight or anything like that. I ran over there, put myself between him and the kid, and I reached over and I grabbed. I told him, "Hold on a second." I reached over and I grabbed a chair and I pulled it over and I stepped up in the chair so I could look him eye to eye. Okay, I said, "You're going to have to go through me first."
of
And he
course,
looked at me. His eyes got big. He looked at me like, "What?" You know, he looked up and down. So how
see
big
if I
how
was his size, I'd have looked at you and started laughing.
well he did. That's what I'm saying. His eyes got big. He's like, "Just what?" He'd never had anybody do that because
Yeah,
he's so
never
big,
been challenged,
right?
right?
He didn't know what to think. He looks me up and down, sees how small I am and everything, and I'm telling him, "You're going to have to go through me first," you know. And he started laughing, and he grabbed my shoulder, and he says, "I like you." He turned around and walked away, and we after that, he would come over, he'd talk to me and stuff like that. But it took just me standing up to him. He didn't pummel the kid, and he said, "I like you," and we became best friends. We'd go all over the place. I remember watching this guy. We pulled into he. Well, first you got to picture it in your head. This guy drove a Vega station wagon.
I've had a few
Okay,
of those.
he's 7 foot tall, driving a Vega station
Yeah.
wagon. Okay, so he's sitting in there like this, head all cocked forward and everything, and we're pulling into McDonald's. Another car comes up behind. We're waiting in line. Well, we place our order. We pull on up to the first window, and it's taking them some time to get to the window. And this guy behind us starts laying on the horn and cussing us and left and right. And I looked over, and Clint was just tapping it. He was tapping his finger like this on the steering wheel. This guy never really showed emotion. You know, he was tapping his finger, and it kept getting faster. I was like, "Oh shit, something's fitting to happen." All of a sudden, he opens his door, and then he steps up out of this Vegas station wagon, just towers over it calmly, calmly, still no emotion on his face. Walks back to the car where the guy's at, reaches in, grabs him, pulls him through the window, one punch, and just left him hanging. He comes calmly, comes walking back, gets back in the car, shuts the door, and he pays. We move on up. We get our food. Pull out. He didn't say a word, and I was like, Clint, and that was his name, Clint. And I was like, Clint. That's all I said, Clint. He turns his head real slowly, looks at me, and the first time I ever saw a smile on his face, it scared me.
Yeah, nobody I've ever gotten in a fight with decided they want to be friends afterwards ever. So I've never had that
One thing
experience.
is, me and him never fought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
I just
challenge each
stepped up to him.
other. Right. I mean, even with a standoff like that, I've never had anybody thought, oh well, you respect that he was brave enough to do something or whatever. No, they usually got mad because they were afraid to do something back when you challenged them, and then they feel embarrassed a little bit, so they don't really like talking to you no more.
Right.
They just kind of avoid being around you. So, and I don't know. I I can't. It's hard to explain. It's one of those deals where I had to learn how to fight at age 5 because
Right.
that was the first fight I got into that was not of any choice of my own. So it's like, and I didn't win. And so I went home and you're 5 years old, so you're crying to your mom. My mom was tough. She said, "So what'd you do to that person?" Nothing, son.
Mhm.
You did nothing. No. Well, then you know why you just got your ass beat, right? And that's where I always say, if you do nothing, you guarantee the ass beating. And she said, "So you didn't throw one punch back?" No.
Well,
Okay,
you should have.
so son, that's how you lost this fight. You didn't even throw any punches. So basically, they had free reign on whatever they wanted to do to you.
Right.
And she said, "So don't ever come home and tell me you got in a fight and you did nothing ever again."
Yeah, I was always told you better not ever start a fight. But if you get into a fight, you damn well better finish it.
Well, when they say finish, that just means neutralize the threat.
Hmm.
Make sure they cannot get back up, or at least you're some kind of a distance away from them. Because there's some fights you may be winning, but you ain't winning because they're not slowing down, they're not stopping, but yet they're not really hurting you, and you think you're throwing some really good hits on them, and he's like, dude. That one hit I just did, I know at least 3 people that's dropped to their knees before. What the fuck's up with this guy?
Right.
And then you worry, you think, okay, what if I run out of energy before this dude does? And then this whole thing's gonna flip around. So
Yeah.
then you have to resort to grabbing something to, because there's no such thing as a fair fight. If you want a
No.
fair
No.
fight, you get in a ring with a referee.
Right.
Other
And
than
I've done
that,
that too.
yeah, no, I've done that a lot of times. Um, Years
Had
ago,
a coach that if you had a disagreement with somebody, he put you in the ring.
well, uh, I took Kempo and then I took Taekwondo, and then we
Mm.
had full contact. It was MMA before MMA was even around, but it was like a Korean. They over in Korea they had full contact like in
Hmm.
boxing rings, but it was Taekwondo and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did taekwondo for a while.
so,
I in
so
fact, it was taekwondo that actually uh, introduced me to the world freestyle martial arts competition.
hmm. Yeah, I used to be able to kick a 6'2" man dead in the nose with a sidekick. At 5'5"
Yeah.
now, remember that. So it was full contact, and I enjoyed the full contact aspect of it. I really did. I enjoyed the pain. Don't ask me why, because it just made me more alert. You know what I mean? It's just like if somebody get hit on me, it's just like you just it made you a better. I always wanted to fight better people, so I would be a better fighter. And you couldn't get in the school I went to. He was an old Vietnam vet, and he had his regular classes to where it's a karate class to where you teach these young kids that don't really want to get hurt, and their parents is willing to pay them money for them to go there, and they get their orange belt, their green belt. You know what I mean? It's just like
Right.
it's a money thing. And then he had his group of kids that's like, oh, I can do whatever I want to these motherfuckers. They're going to keep on coming back because they love the viciousness of it. So we had different classes. So it was so funny because like
And there he went. He'll be back in a second or two. There he is.
fuck it, I'm gonna quit talking. Anyways, what I was saying is that once the regular class was over with, we would there was a secondary part of his dojo, and that's where the fighting ring was. And we'd go back there and we'd get it on for another hour to 2 hours, easy.
Right.
And oh my gosh, I fought a black belt one time, and this guy cheated. Uh, I don't know why he cheated because he really didn't have to because he was really good anyway. He was out of Dayton, Ohio. It was his. He brought over some of his students. This was a black belt. This was an instructor, not the head guy, but an instructor. So for whatever reason, my uh, my instructor guy, his name is Ray Roberts. He's like the owner of the place. He's like he put me with this dude, and I'm thinking seriously. At this time I'm only a green belt, right? So I'm thinking, green belt, black belt, this is not going to end well for me. I kept telling myself, this is not going to end well for me. This is not going to end well for me. And he was like, he's getting some good hits in on me. He was fast. And then he made the stupid mistake of taking two fingers and sticking them in my eye.
Oh.
Yeah. So Mr. Roberts stopped the fight instantly and was going to whoop this dude's ass himself. And the owner of the karate studio for out of Dayton, he kind of like was kind of puffing up on Mr. Roberts, and I said, Sensei Roberts, I said, if you don't mind, I got this. He looked at me and he looked over at the black belt and he grinned at the black belt and he looked at me. He said, "You sure?" And I said, "Yeah." He said he looked over. I forget the guy's name. His name was I think his name was Eric. He says, "Eric, you fucked up." And he told the other dude, he says, "Don't you get involved in this, otherwise me and you really will have a problem because you don't come in my studio and puff up on me because your guy's cheating." And he says, "So whatever happens here happens. This is the real deal." And then he looked at me. He says, "James, there's no rules." And I just grinned. I was like, "Yeah, that's what I was
Right.
after."
Yeah. Take away the rules.
Oh my god, I'd be this dude around. I mean, it was outside the ring because the ring was not like roped. It was just like a taped off square in the center of the thing. And I mean, I flipped him one time, and my Mr. Roberts got mad because he's got like baseboard heaters in the dojo. It's all electric heat. I flipped this dude, and when he landed on one of those heaters in the corner, and smashed the top of it. And then I got on top of him, put my knee in his chest, and just kept wailing on him until where the owner of the other karate studio went to go grab me. He went to go pull me off. Now look at this. This dude cheats, and I'm just retaliating a little bit. So he goes and grabs me from behind, grabs my uniform, and tries to pull me back. Next thing I know, I'm freed up real quick, and I'm looking around, and it's Mr. Roberts has got him in one of those bare naked choke holds from behind,
Yeah.
putting him to sleep. And he's doing this, and then he's got that dude, and he says, "James, finish that guy real quick, because this is pretty much done for the night." He says, "Because once I let this motherfucker go, it's going to be on." I said, "All right." So I started wailing on him till I couldn't hit him no more. I even took my gloves off because we had Kempo gloves
Mm-hmm.
because the fingers stuck out, but you had pads. I took my gloves off and finished him. Oh yeah, I think I broke his nose, but I couldn't tell you because it was just blood everywhere.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and Mr. Roberts is his girlfriend was also very good, badass bitch. She could break bricks like crazy. Their name was Tina Street. So
Right, right,
it was so funny. She come over. She says, "James, if I wasn't already dating your sensei, I'd think about dating your little young ass." I said, "Yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble because she was hot."
right.
And she said, "I've never seen somebody get an ass beaten inside of a karate studio like that before." She said, "I'm proud of you." I said, "Oh, cool."
Right,
I said, "I'm just glad I survived. That dude was a black belt, you remember?" She said, "Yeah, that's the fun part about it." She said,
right,
"You're better from this school as a green belt than his black belt."
right,
I
right.
said, "Yeah." I ended up getting brown belt with, you get like tips. There was like, you get 3 tips on each end of your belt before you go up to the next level. So I was like brown belt 3 tips, and I needed
Yeah,
3 more, but
we
life
got
got,
stripes on our belts.
well, that's what it is, stripes, yeah.
Yeah,
And so life got in the way. I was in the middle of raising kids, trying to work 2 jobs, and just like it because he didn't just hand out belts easily. So
right, right.
I just couldn't do it no more. I didn't have the time. So it's kind of where it kind of ended. But I was 33 the last fight I got in, or I was in at his school.
Right. Yeah, I quit. I quit the taekwondo thing when I started seeing little bitty kids. Couldn't be no more than like 5, 6, 7 years old, and they got a black belt around them. I'm like, whoa, no,
Well, like I
no.
said, he had 2 sides of his school, and he explained it to us. I got to do this because this makes money. And
Yeah, well,
none of these kids will ever be anything as far as a world class fighter. They're just learning the basic self defense stuff basically, and then learn the katas and stuff like that. And
uh-huh.
then they'll learn their belts. Man, I got to thinking one night, for me to get my green belt, I had to hold my hands out in the front, my arms out straight, on my knees, with your toes folded underneath tight. You know what I mean? And he lay a bamboo stick across your top of your hand, and he said, "Don't let it lower more than 4 inches until I tell you to stop." And you're there,
Hmm.
and your sweat's pouring off of you, your arms are burning. And
Yep.
so I did
You're
it
on
for an
fire.
hour and like 20 minutes before he told me it was enough. So, and then so I thought I was done, right? Okay, that's like
No, no.
that was like a challenge, right? No, no, now it's time to fight. So you've been doing that, so now your arms is weak and burning, and now you got to fight 3 people. And yeah, yeah, you earn your belts in his class. At least our side of it did, uh, you know. But it is what it
Right.
is.
Right. Yeah. I remember this didn't happen to me. But it happened to our head instructor. His name was Mr. Zechariah. I'll never forget Mr. Zechariah. You know, but this dude could literally whoop anyone's ass, and I'm not joking, with those 2 fingers. No joke. I watched him do it. But this incident happened down in Jacksonville, Florida. I was going to Taekwondo school at Bill Clark's ATA. Uh, oh, he froze up. Of course. Yeah. You're back.
Hey, hey,
All right. As I was saying, I was going to take
Jacksonville, Florida.
Taekwondo. Jacksonville, Florida. Bill Clark's ATA, American Taekwondo Association. Okay, endorsed by Chuck Norris. You know, you know, and I was like, okay, this is, you know, from what everybody had explained to me, Taekwondo was karate light. Okay, I was going just for the discipline and and that kind of thing. I'd already gone to several different martial arts schools for a few years and whatnot, and so I meet Mr. Zechariah, and we start. He starts teaching me, of course, with a class. Bill Clark's ATA is all about the classes. And there's like 30 of us in there. Well, this one night, I have to explain that around the corner from Bill Clark's ATA was a ninjutsu school. Okay, I teach you all the weapons and all that. And supposedly they taught him actual martial arts too. You know,
we
I'd say
actually did weapons. So
right. Yeah, well, I say supposedly because of this incident. Um, the apparently uh the head sensei over there had a grudge against Mr. Zechariah. Well, him and two of his top students, busted up into Bill Clark's ATA, and they're waving swords around and all this, looking all badass or whatever. And they stop, and the sensei, he goes, I challenge you, talking to Mr. Zechariah, okay, and Mr. Zechariah's like, okay, okay, you challenge me, but no weapons. He had weapons in his office that he could have gone and got and fought them, but no, no, no weapons, you know, bare hands and feet, no pads, and we'll do this. We have the square to fight in right here on the floor. It was lined off and everything because we did have tournaments and everything. And so, okay, sure, but see, they didn't want to go one on one, and Mr. Zechariah was cool with going against all three of them. I'm like, whoa, he's cool with that. he he
go
whooped
ahead. I got
he
a
whooped
story too, but I'll tell you in a second. Go ahead.
he whooped all three of them, and I'm laying in the floor in pain. You know, within about 60 seconds, all three of them. Now, and that was like, okay, I want to learn from this guy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that fired me up. I want to learn from this guy. And I would, if I showed up and he wasn't there, I turn around and left. You know,
See, I taught for a while. Um, Once I started teaching, helping out and teaching, I didn't have to pay for another class, which was cool because it saved me a lot of money in the long run. But anyways, I have something similar to that involved me, but not really quite the same. Nobody ever come into those other than pre-scheduled, supposedly tournament type, competition against another
right?
class, a school that was not part of like the regular organization where you got trophies or anything. This was just see how good your students are, which is a reflection on you
Oh
because
yeah, oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
you better pick the students that you know is going to be able to do something. But anyways, we did weapons in this school, and you had an option. So you always had to pick two weapons. So I like the short staff, and I like nunchucks. And I did the dual nunchucks, and I did all the little fancy tricks with them and all this other shit. And the only thing bad with nunchucks is you couldn't even leave them in your car because they were automatically illegal.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So and he tried to talk me out of it. He says, James, you can't. I want you to pick a weapon that you can legally carry. Those ain't it. I said, but I like them, man. I like them. He said, all right. So I had a pair in my back pocket. I was leaving a friend's house. I had to walk down one block and around the block. Well, these students from Roosevelt Junior High School, I was in junior high at the time, um, was walking through our neighborhood. I guess apparently looking for trouble. There was 5 boys and 2 girls, and they just happened to come upon me. So I didn't think nothing of it. I was wondering why they was in my neighborhood, but until they started bad mouthing me, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, but what do I do here? Because there's nobody out on the streets right now to call upon for help. But I had my nunchucks on me, so stupid me. Hey, you know what neighborhood you're in? And that's what they wanted. Oh
Right.
yeah, okay, yeah. It's like a territory kind of thing. We're going to come in their neighborhood and embarrass somebody. Well, 5 on 1 really isn't embarrassing anybody. It's so. Anyways, 2 of them come walking up on me, and I whipped out my nunchucks, and I was pretty fast with them too, by the way. And I dropped this black kid. He dropped down. He kind of went off to the side, dropped down on one knee, and kind of like had his hands out, holding himself up, keep from falling all the way down. And then I got the other dude. I got him in the nuts with him. And then the other 3, started walking towards them, and they act like they didn't want nothing. I said, "It's too late. It's too late. You come in here in my neighborhood and you fucking talk shit to me. It's too late." And I literally got all 5 of them at least 2 to 3 hits with the old nunchucks. Did they all drop? No, but they all got some kind of a welt on their face or on their body somewhere from me, and it was so hilarious. I told the 2 girls, I said, "You might want to go back to your school and find somebody else that's like a real man." Of course, we're teenagers, right? We're junior high school, and I'm telling them they need to go find real men.
Right.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But come to find out, the black kid that I dropped was one of their like star football players at their school.
Right.
So, and apparently the girls went back and told their whole school what happened and embarrassed these 5 guys. Well, somebody over there knew who he was, knew who I was, and told them they were lucky that I was by myself because it was 5 of them. So, but when it comes to jocks, I was remembering that I've never had an issue with jocks in the schools I went to, but I did, and I didn't even know he was a jock. To tell you the truth, but I don't know why do people do that. They think they got to go somewhere and be tough. And but I love nunchucks. I don't have a pair in here. I still practice from time to time, and I do the
Oh,
little. I can flip it around my wrists and do all kinds. Make it look like a solid stick is what I can do. I can spin it with the chain and
yeah.
roll it around my waist and cross the legs, under the legs, around the crotch, kind of thing. Have it
Mm.
roll it around my neck and catch it,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. And like I said, back in the day, I was freaking fast with them. And I never used
Right.
practice chucks. And I got asked why. I said, because if I make a mistake, it hurts. So it's an incentive to not make that mistake again. Practice
Right.
chucks, it doesn't hurt.
Right. They're
Plus,
foam.
it's a false feeling of educating yourself because they're so light. I said, so if I get super fast with these fake ones, and then I grab the real ones, and I'm like a quarter of the speed because I'm so used to these light ones. Yeah, I like for my wrist to get the full weight of what I'm doing.
Right.
And so, yeah, so, uh, I try to learn everything the hard way.
Well, I mean, we are, as human beings, we are animals. We're part of the animal kingdom. We're just, little tiny pieces of DNA away from being just like the rest of the animals. And animals learn, and I've found this to be true in humans as well. Animals learn the fastest through pain. So if you're doing something and you mess up and it hurts, you're gonna learn. You're gonna, hey, I better not do it like that again because it's gonna hurt. And it
Exactly.
teaches.
Exactly. Remember the old marble, the knockers? It had
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ring on it and a string with
Yeah,
the two things.
clackers.
Man, I
Yeah,
get going
they
with
call
them
them
things.
clackers.
Yeah, so you get going with them things, and then you screw up, and they get off center. Next thing you know,
Uh-huh.
they're beating the shit out of your arm. Uh,
Yep.
I was practicing. It beat my arm up so bad. I took a towel and some masking tape, and I wrapped a towel around my arm and taped it to my arm. So when I would do this and it fuck up, it would hit my arm with the towel. My arm is so black and blue from before I got smart and figured out I need to wrap something around it. But yeah, I got
Right,
good
right.
with them little bastards too. Two of them at one time until they screw up.
Uh-huh. Yep. One
Very
little
dangerous
screw up.
toy. See, this is the thing, man. We had real toys. We had like yard darts that
Right.
had real points on them, and
Right.
you know,
If you remember the clackers, you remember when they first came out, they were made of that glass
yeah,
that
marble.
would. Yeah, the first couple of times you clack them, if you watch, the glass will crack on the
Uh,
inside. And if you keep going, eventually they will break apart and that glass goes flying. Oh yeah, I had that happen. but
yeah, that's what
then
I'm
but
saying.
then they started coming. They started making them from something different that didn't break. I don't know what it actually was,
They used
but
the
it
same
felt it
material they
felt the
used on.
same.
They used the same material they used on skateboard wheels.
Ah,
It was like a mold, like a neoprene kind of mold kind of thing.
right, right,
And they put something in it that made it a little bit harder than because skateboard. I don't know about it. I used to be a pretty good skateboarder when I was younger. And you buy the skateboards, and of course we can only afford the cheap ones. So they had like those like kind of like the wooden wheels or the really
right.
small wheels. So you save your money up and you go to the sports outlet store and then you buy the big neoprene wide wheels that had like the super smooth bearings in them. So you put them on your
Yep.
skateboard, and your skateboard got to be more than twice as fast going down a hill. And yeah, so but it was good times.
Yeah,
For
I
growing up
skated a little
poor,
bit.
we had a good time. I mean, we had a lot of violence in our neighborhood, but when I guess it's what you get used to. So I mean, somebody that lives outside the area comes in and sees what some of these people do to each other, and they get mad at each other, they'd probably be shocked. But it was a regular occurrence growing up, so you didn't think nothing of it. But
Right.
all the kids that were close to our same age, we'd ride bicycles all over town, go skateboarding, go
Mhm.
out to the skating rink. You know what I mean? Go to the
Yep,
public pool together.
yep.
Go down to the park. Then when we got old enough to have cars, we all cruised together. So it was like a huge family.
Right, right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We did most of the same stuff when I was growing up and everything. I mean, here where I'm at. I've been here for most of my life, but there has been a good bit of time that I've spent away from here. I've lived all over Florida. While I was growing up, and then as an adult, uh, I spent a period of 5 years traveling all over the country, and even dipped down into Mexico for a little while, and you know, but it's you still have those friends at your home, like here,
Hmm.
where I live. You still have those friends, and we all, every time I would come back here. and everything. It was like, well, how long are you going to be here this time? You know, is we'd like pick up where we left off. And no problem. And it was just almost the same. But it was like, how long are you going to be here this time?
The thing with my friends, the ones I grew up with, um, there's a couple that moved away and went to work in other states, but for the most part, they're either dead or they're doing multiple year terms in prison.
That's my friends.
So I don't really have any friends left from the old neighborhood that kind of did their adult life like I did. Because I didn't try to go to prison. I didn't because like I said, I couldn't steal something if I had to. It just makes me not. It does. It makes me sick. It makes me want to throw up just because they try to talk you into it when you're younger, right?
Yep.
Oh man, we're gonna go bust out the bottom two panels of this garage door at the drive-through, and we're gonna steal all their alcohol and candy, blah blah blah. And come on, man, come on, come on, and you get up to it, it's just like I can't go in. I can't do this. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
no, 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 I can't do it. And that kind of happened like shit, probably 3 times, and I just figured it out. For whatever reason, something inside my body tells me that this is so wrong that my body is punishing me just for thinking about trying to do it.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I never could figure out why nobody else around me had the same emotional feeling that I did. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm nauseous. Why isn't anybody? They're like enjoying this shit. They're like laughing and giggling and whatever. And then they get back to the neighborhood, and then of course it's like a neighborhood party. You got a bunch of 13, 14 to 16, 17 year olds drinking stolen alcohol and eating all kinds of candy and chips and stuff from a damn drive through.
Right. Right.
And yeah, so it's just like, now don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the party, and they never said, they never had a problem with me partaking in what they stole. A lot of
Right.
people be like, yeah, you couldn't help us, so you ain't getting it. They never did that. And I think they kind of like, they didn't want to admit it, but they kind of like it. I don't want to say admired, but they kind of understood or respected the fact
I was
that
going to say
that the
most
fact
people
that
really.
I couldn't do it. Not that I
Yeah.
was. They knew I wasn't afraid. The fear had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Most people will respect that conscience. Yeah, because that's what that is. That's your conscience telling you, no, you don't need
But
to
why
do
don't
that.
look? I mean, we're talking a ton of kids in the same neighborhood. Where's their fucking conscience?
Well,
I mean, I was like a stand alone kind of guy when it come to shit like this in my
yeah.
neighborhood.
Well, the thing is, most people have that conscience, but they're good at pushing it away. That little thing is telling them, no, don't do this, and they're like, oh, shut up, and they push it away. And then there are the occasional few that just don't have a conscience. You know, somehow they were wired without one.
Well, when the problem I have with doing business with people who are like that, so if they're capable of doing that, and then they grow up and then they want to do some kind of a deal with you, you got to think they didn't give two shits about ripping
Right.
off these people's store.
Damn it. But it did do it to me. So there you are.
Yes, son of a bitch. But anyways, they don't give two shits, of stealing stuff. And then you grow up and like if they like become handyman or whatever, and they want to do something on your house for you, and you got that in the back of your mind, even though you're
Yep.
friends with them.
Yep.
They got no conscience when it comes to this shit.
Right.
So did they really grow up and mature, and you can trust them to be good business people? Or do they still have that mindset they had when he was a kid? Fuck it, I got mine. You know,
Right.
So so I had a hard time dealing with a lot of people that I grew up with.
Right.
I never hardly do any business with anybody I ever grew up with. So never happened. And I'm probably
I
overjudging them.
I can guarantee I wouldn't do any business with anybody that I grew up with, except for one person. My friend Bill. Um, you know, I've known him for so long. I know that he wouldn't actually screw me over. Now he would screw a lot of people over, but he wouldn't screw me over. I know that because I've had business dealings with him. You know,
It's funny. Like I got two brothers, and so everybody thought I was the oldest one. I was not. Um, I had an older brother and a younger brother, and my older brother was so he's 4 years older than me. But everybody thought I was the oldest one because of how I, uh, portrayed myself, how I carried myself, and so they always called me the sensitive one with the old soul.
right, right,
And so I was like, and when you're growing up and you're trying to, and I had a violent tendency anyway because it was that just ran in my family. Uh, you know, Even though I'd get nauseous thinking I'm going to be in the middle of a B&E or whatever, I didn't have two qualms on you want to start a fight with me, I'm going to hurt you as bad as I can. No
right,
conscience there whatsoever. So, but anyway, but when it come to that, that was something everybody did. You know what I mean? Fighting was nothing. That don't make you a special person or anything like that. It's not getting involved in the other shit is what made you different.
right,
So
right,
everybody thought I was the sensitive one, like almost like a mama's boy kind of thing. But they didn't really say nothing like that to me because I could fight, and they didn't want to have to deal with that part of me. But
right,
anyways, growing up, I felt like I was the weak one in the family because everybody like had either been shot or they've already shot somebody or they've been in a badass knife fight. I mean, my brother's got scars. My younger brother's got scars on him from where he's been cut up with busted beer bottles and
right,
switchblades. And then my brother Dave's been shot. And then like my uncle, he'd been shot like 7 times, and then he was accused of murder. He got out of it, but let's be honest, I think he did it. And then my dad shot and killed somebody about 6 years ago now. Somebody tried to rob him, and he just put it to his chest and pulled the trigger on the guy. And then
right,
my grandfather, my one grandfather, he got in a scuffle with a pair of brothers, and he shot and killed one of them. So I kind of felt like I was inadequate there when I was younger. I was like, look, I ain't killed nobody yet. Fuck.
right,
I ain't been shot. I've been shot at, but I ain't been shot. So I felt like I was kind of like in, the guy or the relative that, oh yeah, we tolerate him, but he ain't shit. But as I got older, it was completely the opposite. It was more like I wish I'd have been more like you. I wouldn't have gotten all this trouble as I got older, and then my life would be a little bit different now.
right, right.
So, anyways, you never know, man. You really don't.
Yeah, you don't. That's the thing about life, man. it's
I mean, like now, my older brother's never been to prison, but he has been to jail. And anybody who knows, if you have a sentence that's less than 12 months, you go to jail. You don't go to prison.
right,
So he's been busted for a few things that he's had to spend time in jail. Now, my younger brother has been to prison twice. It's kind of like my uncles. I've had two uncles that one uncle spent 15 years in prison. There was no rehabilitating this young man, the old man. Well, he's dead now, but
right,
he, but that's the one that got shot 7 times, and like he got shot in the face. I mean, and he literally beat the holy shit out of the dude that shot him before he passed out. It's crazy. So, anyways, there's a lot of bullet wounds and knife wounds in my family.
Right, right,
I have one knife wound, and that's where I got stabbed in the calf. But it wasn't bad. I mean, it was like you couldn't show the girls because my brother can show you where he's all sliced down one side of, and then he's got like a spot down here. He can show you. He can lift up his shirt on his side and show you something. My brother Dave can show you where part of his ear is missing from where he got shot right here, and it come out the side of his ear. And now he beat the shit out of that dude too. I was like,
right,
I mean, when that happened, and then my brother, I mean, he was bleeding everywhere when he got home. And then the other two dudes that was with him, the Wallen brothers, they were like, "Oh man, you should have seen your brother. He reached in to grab that dude, and that dude pulled out a gun and shot him right there, man." And he said all it did was piss your brother off. He said he had him like this by the collar. He reached around and punched the quarter window and broke the quarter window and reached out and kept punching him and had the quarter post between him and the other guy over his shoulder, and he's sitting there and punching this guy like that. He
right,
said
right,
then he drags him out, and like they were in a van. My brother and the two boys, their dad was what they call him, journeyman carpenter.
right, right,
So he had a lot of carpenter tools in the back of the van. So my brother grabbed one of those hand saws and literally started beating the dude with the handsaw. Yeah, I mean, this dude got like multiple little tiny stitches all over his body when he went to the hospital. All these little tiny
yeah,
stitches, uh, but of course, no charges were pressed because they didn't want to press any charges in my family or my neighborhood. If you ain't pressing charges, we ain't, because we don't dial 911 here.
right, right,
And so anyway, so nothing happened, but it was hilarious. This dude having all these stitches. And long story short, there was a game hall down by a pay lake, and
yeah,
this is where their whole thing started. They over a pool game, and so they had some words. So my brother and the Wallen boys, my brother was riding with them in the van. Decided to leave. No big deal. We're not going to start no trouble. So they come home. Well, the stupid idiots were stupid enough to follow them.
right,
And as they got into one block into the neighborhood, they stopped the van, got out, and confronted them. Why they're because they pulled the car out of behind the van, and one thing led to another. It was nasty.
right, right,
But there was three of them and three of my brother and the two Wallen boys, and all three of the other people got their ass beat bad. All three went to the hospital.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about scars on the face and stuff, or like my lights hide it, but can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
What, right
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, I see it.
You know, it actually goes down about this far, and it goes to from my eye back, and it goes upward this way up in here. I You know what that's from?
No.
That's from a beer mug, exactly like this one. You see that? Yeah, thick
Yep.
that glass is. That was smashed in my face.
Hold on, where am I at? See that right there coming down this way? That right there?
Uh
Same thing. And guess who swung it on me? And it was full too.
huh.
My ex-wife. I was sitting at the bar and I had my elbow on the bar, and she's like right here standing here arguing with me, and I had the beer mug. Actually, it was more like a small pitcher right there, and it was full. And she said something to me, and when you're going to be an asshole, you're going to say something back worse. And apparently, she can say whatever she wants to me, and that's fine. But I say something to her and piss her off. She wants to hit me with a mug. She grabbed that mug and cracked me right across the face, and I mean, it bled for a long time.
Well, I
And
had to have I
but
had to have surgery because it messed my eye up. They had to
yeah,
piece it back together like a jigsaw puzzle.
yeah. Lucky it was well, you can see right here. It was down here. come down through here, or actually back through here. Sorry. And but the funny thing is when she hit me with it, what was inside of it went everywhere. Well, there was a girl sitting behind me talking to her friend who was standing there just like where Lois, my ex-wife, was standing there talking to me. Well, everything in that mug went all over them. They commenced to beating my ex-wife's ass bad, and I didn't have to do nothing. I'm thinking, yep, she's getting her ass beat. I ain't got to touch her, so I don't have to
Yeah.
retaliate because these girls are doing just fine without me. And
Right.
they literally, and then my ex-wife got mad at me because I didn't defend her. I said, "Are you serious, you stupid bitch?"
You just fucked my face up, and I'm
But
going to defend you.
but that's how she was. I told you at the time how I got woke up having the shit beat out of me, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, see, that's the way she
I've had
was.
that same experience.
Yeah, it's just like, and I even though I defended myself coming up out of my sleep, I still felt bad that I broke her nose and blacked both her eyes. Because
Right. Right.
I don't hit women. And and it's not that I won't. If they're hitting me, then you're a stupid bitch, and you're going to get stupid prizes. Because I will knock you the fuck out. You don't touch a man. You want to fight like a man, or you want to fight at a man, you're going to get something back just enough to stop you. Not none of this
Right.
beat them to the pulp till they can't get off the ground. It's just like it only's going to take one hit usually. You know what I mean? To where they get a little taste of reality, and then they'd be like, "Oh, he's serious. Whew, I can't do that to this guy." You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I would.
I've never really had to, but I've always been of the mind that if a woman steps into a man's shoes, and that means she's stepping up to a man, so she's stepping into a man's shoes. Well, she's going to get treated like a man, you
Right, and
know,
you know who taught me that? My mother.
right?
Because you hear people sometimes, like we'd get in these little conversations. So what kind of parents did you have that they said it was okay to hit a girl? I said, my mother. My mom worked the bars for years, and she'll be the first one to tell you
A
if you
woman will
go up
do
to a
more damage
man,
than a man sometimes.
if you stand up and you stand square to a man and think that you can hit them and they don't hit you back, well, you're a fool. And you hear that. Well, no matter what, a girl can't hurt you like a guy can. If that bullshit.
A woman could do more damage than a man sometimes.
Well,
It
if you
depends on the
let them,
woman.
if you don't do nothing back to them, you usually get hit three, four, five, six times before they like stop and keep, and then keep hollering at you or whatever. Those, that's bullshit. You're taking physical abuse when you don't have to. But
Right.
the worst ones I hate is like I'll be in a fight out in a parking lot in a bar with their boyfriends, and their boyfriends losing against me, right? So they just have to step in. They got to help their man,
Right. Right.
right? Until they get busted in the face with a big old round, just cold cock them with a fucking hook or something, and then they do the little 360 spin and bam on the parking lot they
Right.
go. And then
Right. Right.
they're on the ground holding their face, going, "Can you believe he hit me? Can you believe he hit me?" Seriously?
Right.
Damn, y'all deserve each other. Your woman
Right.
asleep?
Yeah, she's asleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that. There's no comments.
Yeah. Yeah, she's asleep. She stayed awake long enough to, let me know that both streams were working and everything. And then she's gone. I can hear her. She snores. Uh,
uh, yeah, you don't want to hear me snore.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
you probably hit.
I freely admit I snore, but see, we drive each other nuts because I snore, she snores, and if one or the other of us gets to sleep before the other one's never going to get any sleep.
See,
You know,
I'm lucky. My woman sometimes she'll snore, but it's so light you can't even hardly hear it. You know what I mean? Because basically she don't snore. And then I used to worry about my snoring because it's pretty loud. And she's like, well, 10 years ago, it probably bothered me a little bit. She says, but now I can't sleep right without it.
Right, right. But yeah, it's we drive now. You have to understand. We met each other out on the street. We were homeless,
Right.
both of us.
Yeah.
And for a little while, we had a car that we slept in. And now think about two people that snore in a little car. And this was a Infinity. It was a four-door sedan, and it was pretty comfortable. Just you know, it was loud in there because we both snore. It was loud, and we drive each other crazy and everything. So uh,
I have to honestly say the only time I've ever slept in a car is when I've either been on a long trip and we just pulled into the rest stop and to get a couple hours sleep because we wasn't doing good driving down the road, worrying about nodding off or whatever.
right,
So as far as having to sleep in the car on a regular basis, I've never had to, but I can understand the discomfort in it because sleeping in the car to me is miserable.
yeah. Well,
Especially
like I
like
said,
all modern cars have basically bucket seats.
yeah,
So, you want like an old school car or a full size car that's still got a bench seat in the front and back.
yeah. Well, that Infinity, it was a luxury car. It had all the bells and whistles and everything. And these seats, they were power seats, they were electric seats, and they were pretty comfortable, sitting in them. And when you laid them all the way back, they actually laid out flat. And shoot, you could get a decent night's sleep on that seat. It was comfortable. you know
Yeah.
it's just we had that issue of both of us snoring. It got
Yeah.
loud in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually had the cops called on us one time. We had parked in a Walmart parking lot, and somebody walking by heard the snoring. I mean, both of us were snoring, and apparently they heard it outside the car. They called the police, and the police said, "We got reports of strange noises coming from this car." I was like, yeah, it's us sleeping. We snore.
Yeah.
We were trying to get some rest so we didn't like pass out driving. So, you know,
I remember being in a park one night because you're young, you don't have no place to go but your car. And in the car, and the girl's already completely naked. I'm working on it, and the cops pull up.
right?
So she's trying to get dressed again. And all they kept doing was asking her if she was there by her own free will. I said, and I'm in the passenger seat, right? And I'm looking over. I said, she's driving. What are you talking about? I said, she can pull off anytime she wants. Well, you think you can, son, but that's not necessarily true. So like, can I talk to you outside the car? She's like, I got no pants on, so no. And he's like, and they grinned a little bit. So they said, so are you here on your own free will? Yes. And then he's like, this isn't a motel. So I suggest, you ain't got to sit there and get your pants on before you leave, but I suggest you just roll on up out of here. So we did,
Right,
but
right.
it was hilarious. She was so mad. Well, not mad as where she was scared. She said, I didn't know how to answer them. I thought if I answered them wrong, they were going to take you to jail or something. I said, well, what would you have said that would have been wrong that would have caused that? She said, I don't know. I could have got nervous and said, well, I think I'm here on my own free will. Then that would have said, oh, red flag. She thinks she's, oh, that's telling us that she's trying to tell us help, help, help.
Right,
Help me,
right. Yeah.
please, help me.
I don't know the worst in a car. The worst situation I ever found myself in is me and this girl and a friend of mine and his girl. They'd been together for years. Me and this girl, we hadn't been together long. Uh, we had gone out and everything, and we had to drop his girl off and everything. Me and her, we're in the back seat. Of course, we had to drop his girl off, and so they go into her house, and it's taken a while, and I'm like, I know what he's doing. So I know what he's doing. So I decided, hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We can me and her could, do a little something. It's like 3 a.m. Ain't nobody out in this parking lot.
No, 3
Oh,
a.m. and I must be lonely.
well, we got to going pretty hot and heavy. Windows steamed up and everything, and car kind of bouncing, and uh, all of a sudden, we're just going to town, and all of a sudden, I hear, like a slap on the window, and I look up, and we are surrounded by little kids looking in the windows
3 a.m.
at 3 a.m.
Where in the
We're
hell's your
surra-
parents, you little shits?
right. No, but the thing is, I was like, "Fuck it," we went ahead and finished and did our thing and got done. And we're just sitting there in the car laughing. You know, the kids, about the time we got done, they ran off. Because they figured we were going to get out and raise hell or something. We didn't, but we are just sitting there laughing.
Yeah, I never had
you
that
know,
happen.
my friend comes back to the car, and you know, he's like, hey Tony, you want to climb up front? Sure, So I got out and got in front, and I'm still kind of laughing about what happened and everything. And he asked me, what's so funny? I told him the story. He's like, you did what in my car? That was what he got out of the story.
Well, you took so long getting back out here.
Exactly. That's what I told him.
We had to kill time somehow.
I said, we got bored, man.
All right, so we're gonna have to start picking some music for karaoke night. Like I said, I've been working on this song, uh, and I'll go back to say it again. I'm very severely dyslexic, so even learning songs, like I'll how is it when you when you learn the song and then like let's say like the third verse and the fourth verse or whatever, and in my mind sometimes I'll think it's time for the fourth verse before the third verse. So
Hey,
I'll
I've mixed up verses before.
but I mean I do that a lot. So it takes me a lot of repetition to get it to where I don't make that mistake again. So once I learn a song, I learn it pretty well once I learn it as far as knowing which verse goes before which chorus and but it takes me so long. And this song by this English artist, it's a pretty good song, and I like love songs. Don't ask me why. It's Everybody says I have this melancholy soul when it comes to music. I'm not really. I like dance music if I'm in the club. Well, if I'm sitting at home listening to music, it ain't time for dance music. So I like mellow music. I like, and don't get me wrong, I like the big hair bands and stuff like that, but usually they're monster ballads is what I like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not the regular stuff that gets everybody up and pumping a little bit. I do like that music, but I'll be in a group setting in a bar or in a concert hall to enjoy that type of music. But when I'm at home, I like to chill. So
Right.
this song, I like this song. A lot of people, I don't know. To me, it's just you you kind of got to. I like to put myself in their headspace. What were they thinking about when they were writing a song? And
Right.
a
Right.
lot of times you'll hear a song, and when you hear like behind the music, they'll tell you what the song was about. Years
Right.
later, and you think I would have never got that from that. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Right.
and I'll give you a good example. Um, Barry Manilow's the song Mandy.
Right.
You think it's a nice, sweet love song, right? You really, you do. Especially when you kissed me and kept me from shaking. It was about a dog. It's about a dog licking his face. It's like the ultimate pet for this, and the dog. It's a trip. That's what the damn thing. The song's about a fucking dog. It's like really, damn. And of course, like the song 3 a.m. by Matchbox 20. You know what that's about, right?
Right.
That's about his mom's cancer. So, to me, when you hear the stories behind the music, that kind of puts a little bit of layer to the music to me as far as an emotional set to it.
Right.
And this song that I've been trying to learn it's a real deal about where he did one of his girlfriends wrong, or didn't. He was too wrapped up in his career that he didn't spend the time he thought he needed to fulfill her needs. So, and
Right.
it's that's why it's a song called "The Memories We'll Never Make," because she
Right.
finally had enough of his ass, and in the song he has no chance of getting her back.
Right. Right.
So, but anyways, I like it. I don't know. I like foreign music. I like hearing music from other countries.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I like a lot of music from other countries. I like some music that's in other languages.
Yeah, it's got to be
So
English.
I'm I'm really kind of into the Who, not the Who that you're thinking, the HU, the Who. They're a Mongolian band, and
Uh,
they do they do it's heavy metal, but they do the Mongolian throat singing. Uh, but you can thing is you can understand the words that they're saying when they're doing it. It's not like that screamo metal and stuff like that. They're actually the Mongolian throat singing. If you know how to do it, it's really wild.
so
And it sounds awesome with the electric guitars and all that. I mean,
sound like gurgling.
no,
No,
no, it's not gurgling. That's the thing. They're
play a song by it. I mean, you'll have to edit it on YouTube, but you won't have to on Rumble.
oh, let
Ah,
me see if I can. Let me see if I can find one real quick. Um, let's see. Need to do this right
it's
here
fuck.
first. It
What?
froze up, man.
Yeah, I know.
All
Yeah, I
right,
mean, you'll have to edit it out of YouTube, but you're all right for the Rumble side of it.
right, right.
How many
Uh,
people you
let's,
got in YouTube watching?
hang on, let me check real quick. Uh,
See, the people that's live streaming with us will be able to see it and hear it.
um, I have nobody right now. I had a couple earlier. I checked, and I had a couple earlier,
Well, you might want to
but
kill YouTube so you can play the song without worried about the video being edited.
yeah, yeah, that might be a good idea. Let,
And
let me
and
do
I'll
that.
find
Let
the
me go
song I'm
ahead.
talking about, and then you're going to listen to this, going, this sappy motherfucker.